Welcome back to another episode of Fishing with Flair. Today are the top 10 favorite baits for summertime fishing. I didn't want to go to 5 baits because I felt like that didn't cover the spectrum of baits that work really well for me in summertime, so I went to top 10, and I'll try to make it short, but I'll tell you what situations I'll throw in each and every one of these baits. According to the lake or the cover, wherever you're fishing, you'll know which one to pick up. So I'll start off with this one. This is a NUTECH Pro Series. This one looks like it's in 3/8 of an ounce. I throw either 3/8 or quarter ounce or half ounce, depending on the cover and depending on the wind. This has a Gambler trailer on it, and this is in black and blue. This is probably my go-to bait. I throw this one around bushes, laydowns, trees, stumps, rocks, swimming around docks. That's kind of probably the most versatile bait in my summer arsenal, is I always have it tied on, no matter whether I'm frog fishing or whatever, because if you run up to a brush pond, you throw that in there, you'll probably get bit. So basically anywhere. If you're looking to fish in summertime, just have a jig tied on, and you'll catch lots of fish, plus big fish. Big fish bite jigs all the time. Next, this is a Gambler Lures Ugly Otter, black and blue. They're pretty much my go-to baits for some dirtier water, which is where I live. There's some dirtier water. I usually pair this up with like a 1/4 ounce to 3/8 ounce, depending on the cover. This one I like fishing around trees that have moss around them. I don't know if where you guys live have that, but I have moss and weeds and like thick grass around the trees. I like to throw this in, or even around grass. If there's matted grass, I'll pitch it into the pocket of like the open water pocket. And this one works pretty well. It has a nice swimming action to it. And I mean, you can crawl this around rocks too, like a jig, but I feel like around rocks, jigs will perform, and this is more around trees and laydowns and brush piles. If the brush pile is super, super thick, I'll probably pick up a soft plastic because it's a little more weedless than a jig. We'll go on to the popper and a spook. I'll pair these into one. I do throw them at different times, both early morning or late in the evening. The majority of the time, I'll throw a popper when I'm fishing around, when I'm target casting, when I want to cast under a dock, on the side of a dock, under a tree. If I want to skip it under a tree, I usually go with this. And I'll throw a spook, usually if I'm fishing over submerged grass or a rock. This one will work on like the dam of a lake too, but I feel like the spook just does a little bit better. It has some more action, some more sound. So this is more for open water fishing over grass. I mean, they go hand in hand. I haven't really experienced a time where one really works better than the other. That's why I put them together. The next one will be a square bill crankbait. This one is a LIVINGSTON Lures Dive Master Junior. I throw this just around rock, riprap, points, on lakes, basically grinding it on the bottom, burning it, and this one dive about to 5-6 feet usually. So like I said, and you can throw them around laydowns too. If there's some laydown logs, if people have been throwing spinnerbaits or chatterbaits next to it, that's a good one to pick up an extra bite or two. The next one is a NUTECH crazy jig. This is the Blitz crazy jig. This is the new one. I've caught tons of fish on it. Even in my state championship tournament, I even caught 2 keepers on this bait. This one I'll throw anywhere you throw a spinnerbait or a square bill. This will be around grass, on the edge of grass lines, around reeds, rocks, through the trees. This one, if I'm just trying to get a reaction bite and cover water, this one I'll throw, and it comes through cover a little bit better than a square bill most of the time, just because of the NUTECH weed guards and stuff like that. As far as colors go, I guess I didn't really do anything on colors for poppers and spooks. I'll stick to the shad patterns. Square bills, I'll go to the shad pattern, and if it's dirtier water, I'll pick up usually like the chartreuse blackback one if it's dirtier water. For chatterbaits, white and chartreuse is a go-to, or just white, or there's some shad one, as you can see there. I usually throw that if it's clear water. Black and blue I throw when it's dirty water, so it shows up well. And bluegill I'll throw in clear or dirty water. It doesn't really matter. I just, depending on the forage. If there's 0 shad, then usually I pick up a bluegill one to start with. Here I have a Gambler 10-inch worm, ribbon tail worm. Like I have it Texas rigged is usually what I have it, and I usually throw this around trees. I don't really throw this much around rocks like I would like a beaver or a jig. I throw them around standing timber that's probably 5 foot or deeper. When you're fishing deep timber in the middle of the lake for the deep summertime bass, that's usually what I'll pick up. And I'll either throw a green pumpkin or a black and blue, depending on water clarity. Black and blue for dirty water, and green pumpkin for clear water. Here I have a War Eagle buzzbait. I know a lot of you guys know that this is my favorite buzzbait by far. I throw black 99% of the time. I'll throw white if there's a lot of shad swimming around. Otherwise I throw black. And this works anywhere. You can throw it along points, rocks, near laydowns. It's not the most weedless thing. The one place I won't throw it is around grass, because just the way the bait is shaped, it does get hung up in the grass quite often. That's about the only place I won't throw it. I'll throw it, around rocks, like rocks, riprap, laydowns, through trees, open water sometimes. That'll work. And then here, this is by far my #1 summertime bait. This is a frog. This is the Spro Poppin' Frog. This is my favorite frog. I have a couple other frogs I'll bring over here that I will throw. This is like the Lunker Hunt one. I've caught a few fish on this one. That's not a bad frog. The Spro Poppin', the Booyah Poppin' Pad Crasher is a good one. This is one, and then talk about colors. Black, I like to throw black when it's sunny, bright suns. I like to throw black, the silhouette of it. Otherwise, cloudy conditions or low light conditions, I'll go with like the natural. And then the Copper's Life Target is always a good frog too. If you're looking for, a non-popping frog, that's always a good one. Next, I paired up the Fluke and the weightless Cinco together because I throw them both weightless, and you can interchange them where you throw them. Basically, where I'll throw these two baits is around grass, and if there's grass mats, if there's an edge of grass, or if there's a hole, I usually pitch the weightless Fluke or the weightless Cinco. Depends on the forage. If you're trying to mimic a bluegill, probably go with a Cinco. If you're trying to mimic a shad, I'd go with the Fluke. But like I said, you pitch it in there, and it's nice, slow, subtle fall. Just swims its way down into the hole, and you can snap it up, and then it'll swim its way down. It's just a real nice, subtle presentation. I usually throw it like in the middle of the day. If the frog bite stopped on the weeds, but I know the fish are still in the weeds, I'll pick up something like this. And the last bait is a shaky head. This one I don't throw very often in the summer, but I wanted to include it just because when the bite is super tough, if you go on the dam of a lake or find a rock pile, throw a shaky head, like I think this is like a 7-inch shaky head. This is a Gambler SWEEBO worm, and usually I'll interchange the colors based on water clarity. Like I said, I'll throw this in some clear water, and then I'll go like a black and blue, like this, in some dirtier water. But if you can just find rocks, not trees, I usually don't throw this around trees or laydowns that often, otherwise I'll just pick up a Texas rig. But yeah, like I said, if the bite's super tough, you can't catch anything on any of these, this is probably my go-to bait for summertime. This is probably my go-to bait all year round if the bite is tough, but I wanted to include it just so you guys would know. So as you can see, I know it's a lot of baits. You guys are thinking you don't own 10 rods to throw these baits, but I told you where to throw them and when. So hopefully, if you guys can go look at the lake that you're at and decide on which baits to throw based on what I told you and what's worked for me. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.